All right, music done. I was enjoying the music so much I forgot to put in my headphones. Oh my goodness. Hi, Shakira. Bring the vibes and the info, but of course, it cannot be boring. It has to be exciting and engaging. Hi, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another Boss Teacher Live. It's me alone today. Like for all of last week, all of the past five or so, yes, on the last five videos, I've had a guest on because I was celebrating my 2 year anniversary in business. So if you have not watched those, I created a playlist for them on my YouTube channel, and you can go back through at any time. Listen, those sessions were amazing. People are still talking about them because they were that good. You feel like you should have paid for the sessions, even though they were free. That's how people left feeling like they should have paid for them. They were that good. So make sure you go back and watch those. But for tonight's session, I am going to be sharing with you a few lessons that I learned from 2020. I feel like my light don't set properly because, like, I don't know. Yeah, it looks weird. So I'm going to be sharing with you a few lessons from 2020 that I've learned that I believe are very, very significant lessons that you can apply to your own life and to your own business and really just up level yourself as you go through life. So that's what we're going to be talking about for this session. I want you to remain, as usual, very active in the chat and just ask questions. Feel free to comment, feel free to chime in at any point and just, join in on the conversation because it's not just me talking. I want you guys to be a part of it as well. All right, so we're just gonna jump right into it. We're at the end of 2020 as I'm doing this live, and it doesn't matter if you're watching this 10 years in the future, the lessons still apply or they still can be applied to your life. So not because this is 2020, it means that you're gonna click out and decide, you know what, can't bother with this. Because these lessons are like not time bound. And I'm going to be sharing with you a few examples of how I was able to pull these lessons out of my own experiences. But at the end of 2020, we are looking to go into a new year. And usually people wait until January to decide to get things done or to start implementing plans. And I said this to a client I had this morning. I said to her that these plans that you have in place right now, don't wait until January to implement them. Do not wait. You need to start creating momentum and building momentum in your business from now. January 1 is just a date. It's just an arbitrary date that was set because it's the new year. People are just assuming that you need to be doing new things and you need to be setting new goals. No, not necessarily. It doesn't matter what time of the year it is. You need to start acting now. Start implementing all of those plans, all of those ideas now. So as I'm filming this video at the end of the year, we are transitioning into a new year. Don't wait until January 1 to start putting things in place. Don't wait until then, because it means that whatever date it is, you're going to waste that amount of days, that amount of time when you could have actually gotten things done in your business, in your life. But because you waited just for waiting's sake, then you've delayed the process so much longer. So whatever I'm going to be sharing, I want you to start acting now, implementing now, and ensuring that you're getting things done from now. And don't wait until New Year. Don't wait until your birthday. Don't wait until Somebody dies, don't wait until your name shows up on the will. Don't wait for anything. Just start acting now, right now. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm apologizing for the lighting. It keeps going in and out. I'm not sure why. But anyway, that's you'll hear what I'm gonna say regardless of that. But don't let it distract you. All right, so point number one that I want to share is focus. That's the lesson number one that I've learned from 2020. So this is a story around focus. When I just started out in my online business and my venture as boss teacher, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I was going to pursue. I had no idea how I was going to make money. Like I didn't. And I decided that I was going to fall back on what I knew best, which was online business. I've been working online part-time for many, many years before that. And I've garnered a lot of skills over the years. And I know a lot about a lot of things. I know a lot about affiliate marketing. I know a lot about how to make money from blogs. I know a lot about freelancing. I know a lot about online courses, email marketing, social media, you name it. I probably know it. The one thing I probably don't know a lot about is e-commerce, because I've always shied away from e-commerce because I just don't like it. It's one of those things that fall on the bottom of things I like. It's probably not on the list at all. But when it comes to running an online business, I know a lot, right? And it took me a while to decide what I was going to focus on because like I knew so much. And online business has a lot of elements to it. There are a lot of moving pieces. And you cannot say, okay, I'm an online business coach or I help people to build online businesses without focusing on one thing. Because you're going to find yourself doing so much and delving into so much that requires a lot more research, a lot more teaching, a lot more information. Like email marketing in and of itself is just, you can build a business around helping people to build out their email marketing strategy, like that alone. You can build a business around content marketing, and this is basically people helping you to write content that sells. You can build a business around just blogging alone. Like there are businesses on that people have started on how to make money from blogs, and that is just one teeny weeny aspect of how to build an online business. And I decided from earlier on that I was going to jump into building online business, but I really wasn't sure what I was going to focus on. And I found myself later in the year, much earlier than I thought though, focusing on online courses. And it was like the perfect pairing for me because as a teacher, I know how to build a curriculum. I know how to put lessons together. I know how to create courses. I know all of that. And so using that skill and that knowledge as a teacher and transferring it to the online space was kind of a no-brainer for me. Like these are my teaching skills. I've been a teacher for way back when, and I'm just integrating what I know as a teacher into the online space and sharing and teaching other people to do the same. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me to really zone in on online courses. And when I did that, the magic happened. The magic happened. That was really when my business started to gain traction. That was really when I started to maintain profitability. And that was really when I started to have the kind of impact that I've always dreamed of. Like as a teacher, the greatest feeling a teacher can have is to have somebody else, is for you to teach somebody something and you see the evidence of them getting it. Like they completely understand what you're saying and they can apply whatever you've taught them into their life. And so for me, that was when all of that started to unfold in greater magnitudes for me in my business, when I started to focus on online courses. So I could see my students just creating their online courses, getting all excited about them, selling them, making money from them. And that's where like the whole gratification, came for me in business, when I actually was able to see the fruits of my labor in my students and in my clients. So that focus kind of confirmed my expertise. Like I knew I could do this, but when I started to zone in and focus and I eventually saw the results, that's when I knew that this is what I needed to do, because I felt again that peace about marrying my teaching skills with my online skills and just turning them into a force to be reckoned with. And so, my advice to you today is get focused. You cannot be doing a million and one things in your business. You cannot be trying to sell this, that, and you're all over the place. You cannot be a life coach and a photographer and a chef all in one. Like those are three completely different things, right? You cannot be doing so many things that are unrelated in your business. Why? Because you're going to be stretching yourself too thin. That's one. So you're trying to do this photography business. You try to do this life coaching business, and you're trying to do this other business, and you're putting 30% of your time there, 30% here, and another 33% there, right? Imagine if you were to pool all of your time and put all of your efforts and energy into this one business, into this one photography business, into this one life coaching business. Imagine how much more you would be able to accomplish by pulling on all of those energies that you would have otherwise expelled elsewhere into this one thing and making it happen. And even if this one thing fails, the least you can say to yourself is that I gave it my all and it didn't work out. You gave it your all and it didn't work out. So when you are thinking about starting a business, when you're thinking about building a brand, don't try and do multiple things that are very unrelated. Try and zone in on one thing, zone in on your area of genius and make that work for you. Give it your all, give it your 100%, and ensure that if it does fail, then you have zero regrets about how you invested yourself into it, right? So focus. Now, a question I get asked as it relates to focus is like, okay, Julia, but you teach online courses, you speak, you have a book, you do coaching, do all these things. How are you going to talk about focus? And that's really why I brought up the word unrelated. So, for example, if you're doing 10 things and those 10 things are unrelated, then it means you're stretched too thin, right? You can have multiple streams of income selling one service, and that's exactly what I do. My main core offer is teaching people how to create online courses. My book around there, Think It, Teach It, Sell It. What is the title? A Blueprint for Creating and Publishing Courses Online. Same online courses. When I get invited to do speaking engagements, what do you think I talk about? Online courses. In my coaching programs with my one-on-one clients, what do you think I help them with? Building out their brand online. And one of the core things we focus on is building out their course. Like that's the main core offer that I teach them to create, build out their online courses, right? So yes, I have a book. Yes, I have speaking engagements. Yes, I have clients. Yes, I'm doing this and that, but everything is under the same topic of online courses. And if I do get a speaking engagement, which I did to speak another topic, it's still in my zone of genius and it's not something I'm doing 24/7. Right? So the second to last speaking engagement I did was early childhood related. But you see, I'm an early childhood trained teacher, so I can do that. But it doesn't mean that I'm now going to get up every day and become an early childhood consultant. No, that is not my core business. So yes, I'll do a one-off project on that because I know I have expertise in that area, but I'm not going to be focusing all of my energies on that. So if you're bringing in multiple streams of income from a book, from speaking, from training, from coaching, from one-on-one, they must be related. And as long as they are related, you still have focus. But don't be a nail tech and a photographer and a life coach all at once. Those are not related at all. And you're going to find yourself burnt out and completely stretched too thin because you cannot manage to be running so many things all at once. So get focused, guys. Get focused. So that's lesson number 1, getting focused. Lesson number 2 for me was upgrading my circle. Upgrade your circle. And I have a story for all of them, so I'm going to give you the story for all of them. So here's the story about that. Ever since I've had the entrepreneurial mind, I've always wanted to be in a group of people who are like-minded, and who were on a mission to accomplish and to really make things happen in your business, for their lives, to build a legacy for your children, for your family, and all that stuff. And this was a search that I was on since, I believe, 2012, believe it or not. And I've been in groups with like-minded people, but I didn't realize what was missing from those groups until this year. And when I said this year, I'm talking September, like September this year. Or in October, 2 months now, this all came to me. So I've been in groups over the years, and I realized that after a while, the groups dwindled away, or I've lost interest, or we weren't really connecting, or we grew to connect and then we kind of grew apart again. I was like, what's going on? Why can't I connect with a group of people that's like that? And I've actively been in search, because I'm that kind of person. I need to be among a group to thrive, right? It gives me a little boost of motivation, energy, encouragement, everything. And so I like to be a part of a group. And that kind of came to a fruition in September when I joined a paid mastermind group. It's not a free group, and I probably need to add that to my lesson because I never thought of it, but investing, very important. Investing in yourself, investing in your business, investing in upgrade. So we'll talk about, I'm adding it to the list for next week, because this list is long and everything can't talk about tonight. But I invested in a mastermind group. And and this is when I realized what was missing from all those other groups that I've been a part of. We weren't on the same mission, right? So in the other groups that I've been a part of, we were all entrepreneurs, but we're entrepreneurs doing different things. So I remember being a part of a group where one of the entrepreneurs was a tech startup. A few of them at the time when natural hair products were all the rage, they were natural hair products. Artists were like artists like paint and draw, and then artists like singing. We had people who were doing Jamaican products. Like I remember one person was tent rental, another person was making peppers, like bottling and selling peppers and so on. And so I realized that even though we were all entrepreneurs, we weren't on the same mission as an entrepreneur. So our stories, the only thing we connected on were the fact that we were entrepreneurs, right? We didn't connect on anything else. So we'd call and check upon each other, and then that kind of died down. And I realized because we weren't on the same entrepreneurial journey, like we had so very different businesses, it was hard for us to connect with each other and that kind of heart level that I was looking for. And we all grew apart. Believe me, we all grew apart. Because I check in with each of them every now and again, and people are just all over the place. And that was one group. And there was another time that I was connecting with this particular individual, and we just grew apart because we had completely different businesses. So there are certain things I couldn't relate to about her business, and there are certain things she couldn't relate to about my business, because we were like east and west, even though we were all entrepreneurs. And then not late last year, maybe about 2 years ago, maybe as old as my business is, my accountability partner kicked in, and she and I have been working together ever since. And yes, I love Sharon, and you guys hear me talk about Sharon all the time, my accountability partner, right? Sharon and I have been working together, but you see, when you start to expand your circle to include people who are like you, like Sharon and I, we are like each other. Like, she's a nurse, I'm a teacher, I'm running Boss Teacher, and she's running a nurse like me, but the business models are the same. Like, she and I have similar business models. So this is a lesson in upgrading your circle. If you hang around people who are on the same mission as you. So if you're looking to connect with entrepreneurs, ensure that their business models are similar to yours. So if you're a speaker, connect with other speakers, right? If you're an author and your thing is authoring, connect with other authors, and don't look at it as running competition. It's not competition, it's collaboration. How can I help you? How can you help me? Even though I'm an author, my focus could be on how-to books, right? And you're an author, you're focusing on memoirs. Another person is an author, they're focusing, memoirs and biographies, the same thing, right? Biographies, another author is focusing on some copywriting. So the three of you are authors, but there are different aspects of writing. Understand? So as long as you're on the same mission, you will find that you will be connecting on more things because you're all working within the same space. So I found this group of entrepreneurs in September of this year that I connected with through a paid mastermind. And I love them so much. And the beautiful thing about it is that it's a Christian group. Not everybody is a Christian, but the group has a Christian mindset. And so that makes it even more awesome for me because I get to connect with them at a spiritual level as well. And you find that we all have the same business models, even though our businesses are different. Right? And that makes it so much easier for us to connect. So my circle, in upgrading my circle to being around those people, I've literally been able to earn more. Why? Because the mindset of the individuals around me are of that of wealth creation and kingdom building. Kingdom building in the form of using your tithes to build the kingdom of God. So I remember we started a conversation around a shirt that somebody was wearing and it said, make $1 million, save $1 million, tithe $1 million. Do you know how much money you need to be making in order to tithe $1 million? Enough. That is all I have to say. But the point I'm trying to make is having that mindset with the capacity that whatever I make is not 100% mine. I still have to give back to the kingdom. And so I have to build that legacy for my family. I have to build that legacy for the kingdom that we're living here on earth. That does something to me to be around that group of people, those kinds of people who are not just working selfishly for themselves to build empires here and there, but we're working selflessly to give back and to build legacies so that when we die, it lives on. You understand? So the mindset of the group of people that I'm around now is like it's up there, very, very elevated. And so there are certain things I will not encourage in my space anymore because I've graduated to a higher level of thinking. And when I'm around those people, or when I feel like I miss them, I just log in. You understand? It gives me personally a certain level of boost that I cannot get from anywhere else. Like I cannot get it from my average friend, except Sharon, because Sharon is a part of that group for me. You understand? So upgrading my circle not necessarily means we're talking to upper class people, but what I'm mostly referring to is the people around me have a certain kind of mindset that is elevated. And a lot of the people around me right now are millionaires and they don't even look it. Like when I say me, I'm not talking millionaires in Jamaican dollars because that's where I am. I'm talking millionaires in US dollars, and generally in most places in the country, the US dollars is valued higher above others. And these people are millionaires and they don't even look it. You will see them online and they show up in their spaghetti strap and their jeans, and they're in their Instagram lives and they're just kicking back and sharing value and just helping transform people's lives. And they look average because they're not flaunting things because of the kind of mindset that they have. You would know what their bank account looks like. You know they're making money, because you see the testimonials, but you don't know the level of zeros in their bank accounts because the mindset allows them to act and portray themselves differently. So you're not going to see the Chanel bags and the Louis Vuittons. You're literally just seeing these people showing up every day, sharing value to their audience and just transforming people's lives and getting paid to do that. And so being in that kind of group, it kind of elevates my presence as well, because it boosts me and motivates me to show up. Like I was seriously thinking today not to do this live. Why? Because I'm tired from last week. I'm tired because I was like going all of last week, Monday to Friday. Saturday night was amazing. Our planning session was off the chisel. People don't say chisel anymore, right? No. But when I think about what you need to do in order to get the results, how much impact that you need to have in order to get the kind of results that you want, I had to show up. There is this, I think is Gary Vee has a book that talk about jab, punch, hook, or something like that. Basically, you give, and then you ask, because people are going to be seeing the value that you're constantly giving. And when you ultimately ask them for the sale, ask them for whatever, it's so much easier for them to say yes. It's so much easier for them to pull out their wallets and give you their hard-earned money. Why? Because they know the value that you can give them. They know the transformation that you can provide for them, because you keep showing up and sharing value over and over and over. So being in that group has caused me to elevate my mindset, and it also changed the way I show up online and I show up for my business. So upgrade your circle. Can you find that group of people that will do that for you? That will cause your mindset to really become elevated? Can you find that group of people who will cause your thinking to shift? And in so shifting your thinking, really shift how you act and how you show up for your business, how you show up in your life, how you show up for your workout at daytime. Like, listen, guys, we have our morning routines that we go through. And so devotion is a part of that. Exercise is a part of that, which I have been lapsing on. So I need somebody to kick me in the butt. But like those kinds of things, it enables you to be more productive and more impactful. So find you some people that you can connect with in order to elevate your mindset and elevate your actions and elevate how you show up every single day for your business. All right, y'all with me? Are you still with me? Let me type in the chat and see if y'all are with me. Are you getting it? No, the other thing I wanted to share with you about some of the lessons I learned in 2020. It kind of ties into what I just said, but from a different angle, is mindset. And mindset around a lot of things. I remember earlier this year, I posted a video on social media about wealth creation in Christendom, right? And it was around something that I had learned growing up. And then I kept hearing it reinforced like this year as an adult. And it kind of triggered me because I realized that that kind of thinking was not accurate. And this is what I learned as a child growing up. I learned that as a Christian, humility was equivalent to poverty. So if you're a Christian, in order to stay humble, you have to remain poor. And poor as in financially poor. And you learn that if you have too much money, you're not godlike. Or if you're rich, it must mean that you did something wrong in order to gain that wealth. And if you're extra rich and you're not giving away your money, you're not going to heaven. You're not Christ-like. And all of that, 20 odd years, just in my psyche. And growing up, I realized that that teaching, that mindset was an erroneous one. And I came across a scripture in 3 John. Why do I always forget this scripture? Like I remember what to say, but I always forget where to find it. It's 3 John 2 or 2 John 3. You know, like those 3 Johns at the end, John, Jude, Revelation. Yeah, one of those Johns down there. I'm looking for it right now on my phone to tell you guys. Oh, easier for me to Google it. Let me do a quick Google. All right, so the great Google has, here it is, 3 John 2. See, I was right. So 3 John 2 says, I wish above all things, that you should prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. That's what. And then I was going through the Old Testament at one point, and I was reading all the stories of the Israelites and all of that jazz. And I met upon a scripture in Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 34, I believe. Deuteronomy 8 and verse 18. Sorry, 8 and verse 18. But remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth. And I'm going through, especially the Old Testament. There are a lot of them in the Old Testament, but those two in particular struck out to me because I was like, yo, this is good stuff. And you realize how God was able to help his children to gain wealth. And wealth for us in 2020 means money. But wealth in the Bible could be cattle, servants, multiple things, right? And I started to look at those stories and I was like, wait a minute. Wait, just hold 1 minute here. You won't tell me that as a Christian, in order to remain humble, as the Bible says, I need to be poor. But the Bible that I'm reading as an adult tells me a completely different story. Like, what have you been teaching me all my life? You understand? So I took a 180 on that mindset about wealth creation this year in particular. Like, I've been reading these stories, but it didn't really hit me until this year. And then I started to embrace what the Bible says about building wealth and living the good life, living the prosperous life as your soul prospers, not just a prosperous life, but as you grow in faith, you grow in wealth as well. And learning more about how giving brings back wealth onto you. Like all of that is like, I was like, whoa, hold on there a minute. All of my childhood Sunday school teachers, y'all were wrong. Okay? Because this is not what my Bible is saying right about now. And so as I was soaking all of those principles from the Bible, and I think I was reading this book by this rabbi, Business Secrets from the Bible, who he makes reference to a lot of the biblical principles and how you can apply them to business. And that just kind of blew my mind as well. And so I'm learning all of this, and my mind starts to shift. Like it has shifted, nothing yet, done shift already. So my mind started to shift as it relates to how I perceive wealth as a Christian, how I perceive wealth in terms of how it is stated in the Bible. And that is why I'm not afraid to ask for what my products and my services are worth. Like I'm not afraid to ask for the sale. Because one, I know how much work I've put in over the years to be able to come up with a figure to charge for a particular product or a service. I saw a post on social media from a fellow Christian business entrepreneur that says, when I charge you per hour, X dollars per hour, I'm not just charging you for the hour. I'm charging you for the 4 years in college, for the 4 years I invested in college, for the 6+ years that I had to do all of this, for all of the mistakes that I had to make and figure out how to find a solution to those mistakes. You're getting the shortcut. That's what you're paying for. You're not just paying for the hour. So like when people, like nobody has done this in recent times, but when people try to ball your prices down, like don't try and negotiate unless you're having a sale. And if you're having a sale, let them take advantage of the sale. But negotiation for me today is out of the picture because I really have a great understanding of how much I am worth, of what I am worth, and the value that I'm giving into the world. And when I think about wealth creation, I think about it from a biblical perspective and how all of that was done. If you even think about negotiating in the Bible, it was really more so of a trade. So like if you couldn't pay me for the cow that I want, you can give me the sheep plus something, plus your daughter, and I give you what you want. So you're still getting the full value. It's hilarious. Very funny, you know. So you're still giving me the full value and you're getting the value of what you want in exchange. You understand? So I'm taking all of those principles from the Bible and applying it to my wealth mindset. So I had a complete shift as it relates to how I perceive wealth as a Christian woman this year. All right, so that's three, right? So the first one was focus, getting focus in your business. The second one is upgrading your circle. The third one was the shifting in terms of the financial mindset. And I'm gonna leave one more with you, which is the fourth one, and then next week I talk about the others. So the last one I want to share with you is how I plan. Now, I had a planning session on Saturday night, and I shared with the group all of the strategies. Like I gave them everything. If you missed that planning session, I don't know what to say to you. It was completely free, which means you could have easily well showed up. But it was an amazing session. I literally gave the group everything that I do in terms of how I plan for my year, my month, my week, and my days. But this, how I plan today in year 3, is not how I've been planning for the last 2 years. Right? So a shift happened for me in February of this year in terms of how I plan. I never started annual planning and strategic planning until 2 years ago, right? And the first year I did it was just on a whim. My husband said, listen, we need to sort out our year, and we just decided to do it. And we had a long document, each of us had a long document on our computer. He had one for him, I had one for mine, and then those ideas that we shared as a family, we just kind of duplicated them on our sheets. And it was just one Google Docs online, that's it. So that was 2018 planning. 2019 planning, I kind of up-leveled it because then I had a planner. I was using a planner from one of my my friends that sells planners. But so that was 2019 as I was planning for this year. But there was something missing from that planner for me. Like a lot of things that I wanted to input in a planner, they weren't there. Mind you, it was a good planner, but there was stuff missing. And so I started to design a planner for myself at the beginning of this year. Like all the things that I wanted in a planner, but I couldn't find. And when I say I couldn't find them, really, I couldn't find it because I searched Amazon, I searched Pinterest, I searched as much of the internet as I could. And I couldn't find a planner that was suitable for me. And so I started to create my own. And this was just with ideas that were in my head. But then I took a course earlier this year. I think it may have been late January, early February. Yeah, it was in January of this year. And this was where I was exposed to the concept of what I now call the key areas of life. Like, you know, when you talk about different areas of life, people always talk about the financial, the spiritual, the social, the emotional, and that's probably the business or the career. That's probably where the list stops. But I did this training and I was exposed to different categories of life that they were always there. It's just that I didn't look at them like that, right? I didn't realize that, oh my God, this thing that I call a high quality abundant dream life, that was a thing. Like this is a dream I have in my head. I didn't know it was a thing. And so when I did that training, I believe it was a 6-week training, I did that training and like so many things started to open up to me as it relates to even your social life. And what I found is that when I was going through the year, some of the books that I were reading, I was now looking at them from a different perspective. Because even some of the things that I learned about social relationships that I now teach, I think I incorporated a lot of that from one of the books that I was reading, and I paired it with the training that I did. So like I'm looking at life from the perspective of those 10 key areas. No, like everything I do, I'm trying to fit, okay, which category do they fall in? And so as I plan this year, this is my 3rd year planning, as I plan this year for 2021, I'm looking at it from the eyes of, okay, where does or which category does this aspect of my life fall into? And so we have 10 key categories. I call them the 10 key areas of life. And as I'm planning everything, where's my planner? Everything that I input into my planner falls into one of these 10 categories. I'm stretching, guys, because my planner is, wait a minute, you kidding me? Give me one quick second. It's further than I can stretch, so I'm gonna go for it. Found it. So everything that I plan, and this is the planner that I created, guys. Some of you got it already, so you know the power of it from our planning session Saturday, and some of you pre-ordered yours. I'm going to show you the page with the 10 key areas. So everything that I plan for every area of my business must fall into one of these key areas. And this is how I know that I am looking at my life from a very comprehensive standpoint. Like fitting everything into one of these categories, I miss absolutely nothing. I miss nothing. Like every single thing I can think of, they fall into one of these categories. And so as I plan for 2021, no, and I'm using these key areas as a guide, I realize how much more prosperous, and this is not just financial prosperity, I'm talking about prosperity in all areas of my life. I'm realizing how prosperous my life can be because I finally have a framework of how I can frame my life because of these 10 key areas right here. And so in planning for next year, you see I start smile already. You see I start smile already. In planning for next year, when I themed my year, next year, the best year ever, it was intentional. It was very intentional because as I look at all of these categories, I realize, oh my goodness, I actually can now finally see where I can accomplish the things that I want in each area of my life. And it is clearly outlined based on the categories that I have here. So y'all, I'm excited about next year because 2021 for me is going to be my best year ever. I'm declaring it. It's done. It's already done. Like, call it done. It's called faith. You know? Yeah, it's done. And so planning this year was on another level for me. You see, in the same way I upgraded my circle, I upgraded my planning strategy. And it's the same planning strategy I shared in the session on Saturday. I shared with all of those who are present. And I see some of you here watching, you were in the session. Now, if you didn't get your planner, you can go to bossteacheracademy.com to get your planner. Now, one of the things that I've been asked since the planning session was done, like people missed the planning session, they got the planner and they want to know how to use it. So what I intend to do is I intend to create very short videos of what exactly do these key areas mean, and I'm going to add it as part of the video training that is connected to the planner. And I'm also going to do a how-to as to how to use the planner because I printed out a whole, this is 1 month that I printed out for myself. So my intention is to do some short how-to videos, like how to plan, how to use the 10 key areas to plan, and also give a how-to use this planner. So if you want to get a copy of this planner, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a link for it in the chat, as well as in the replay video. I'm going to put it in the description of the video. But this is how I have been planning. And I have this is the one that I was using this year. And it is rugged and all jacked up because I've been using it all year, right? As I've gone through almost a whole year. I didn't start using it until about March, I believe. That's when I created the very first draft and decided I was going to test this thing out on myself. And so I've been using this all of this year. And then I did some edits and upgraded it to the final product that I'm now selling on my website for you guys to get. So I've elevated my planning. And that is one of the reasons that I'm excited about next year, because I see, based on how I plan, that next year really is going to be my best year ever. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to do a review. I'm also putting the link to get a copy of the planner in the chat. So if you're interested in getting a copy, please use that link. Oh, by the way, today is a very, very last day for you to get the planner at 50% off. So if you use the code HAPPY2, HAPPYTWO, you get the planner at 50% off. If you're watching this video after November 30, 2020, then it's going to be full price. But you get 50% off until midnight tonight. So let me just do a quick review of 4 of the lessons that I shared tonight. Like 4 lessons I learned in 2020. And the first one was focus, right? Focus in terms of zoning in on one business, on one service that you offer, but still being able to collect multiple streams of income from that one service. In the same way, I'm an online course coach, but I still make money selling my book as an online course coach. I still make money speaking on online course topics, right? I still have my one-on-one clients, but it's the same thing, right? Having that focus in your business. The second thing I talked about was upgrading your circle in terms of finding some people who are on the same mission as you. Like even if you are an entrepreneur, find somebody who's in the same line of business and connect with them. You're going to find that you're getting motivated and encouraged, and you show up better. And along the same line of upgrading your circle, upgrading your mindset, because the mindset is going to determine your actions. How you think is going to determine how you act. And if you think a certain way, you're going to do or not do certain things. And because I was able to shift my mindset as it relates to what the Bible talks about wealth and building wealth as a Christian, as a kingdom individual, then I've been able to kind of deliver and just shift my business as well to reflect that. And then the last thing I shared was how I plan. Like, this is my 3rd year doing strategic planning. Year number 1 was just kind of very haphazard. Year 2 was a little bit more organized, but my year 3 in planning, I think this is it. These are the strategies that I'm going to be using moving forward, unless I learn something new. So I'm at a high level planning right now. So yeah, and I'll close by saying that every year, every week, every day, if you can, take a stock of what your day was like, do an evaluation of your day, realize or identify what has been working, what is not working, and if it's not working, do I need to try it again and see if it will work second time around? And if I try it a couple times and it really is not working, then throw it in the bin, don't do it again, right? But do an evaluation. It helps to give you a clear picture of where you are in comparison to where you were, as in how much you have improved and grown over a certain period of time. And it also helps to determine how you're going to move forward, the perspectives you're going to have, the actions you're going to take moving forward in business. So always do an evaluation. As a teacher, I learned that as a part of teaching, you have to do evaluations for your lessons. But I've also taken that into my business life and even into my personal life. In every single one of those key areas that I mentioned, I've taken that there. So do an evaluation of your life. Next week, I'm going to be sharing with you the other lessons. So far, I have 2. I had 6 lessons to share with you, but I don't want to talk too long. I've already been talking for 51 minutes, just talking about 4 lessons. So we'll continue on the others next week. And I think that's going to be my last live for the year until January 4. Right? So I'm taking a break for the Christmas holiday. So let me know in the comments, were these lessons helpful for you? Were these helpful for you? I'm typing it here. All right, were these lessons helpful for you? And then also, how are you going to apply, based on what you've heard my story, based on what I've said, how are you now going to apply those in your own life and in your own business so you can improve for the next phase of your life and for your business? Let me know that in the chat. Let me know that in the comments. I know tonight was not one of those hyped up content driven nights where, you know, I talk to you about online business and boost you up on all these things and tell you tools and strategies. But I think it's very, very important to reflect. I think it's very important to reflect. And so I'm closing the year this way. I'm going to be sharing with you a few more next year, next week. So you can see how you too can apply those to your life and to your business. All right, guys. So that's it for tonight. Everybody taking in the lessons and mellowing out on them. That's what we say in Jamaica. You mellows. But as always, I am grateful for those of you who show up, for those of you who show up live, for those of you who also take part in the chat and just share your comments, your questions, and anything that you have to say, or even just saying hi. Like for those of you who just show up and say hi in the comments to let me know you're here, thank you. Truly appreciate it. From one teacher who just comes out of the classroom just having people talk to you 24/7 to being online talking to a computer. I really, really appreciate when you show up in the comments section. All right, so that's it for tonight, guys. I'll see you next week, Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Toodles. Hi, Teacher Higgins. Oh my goodness. Next week I'm gonna give you a lipstick, okay?